Hi, everyone. We're getting ready to start the webinar, so let me go ahead and get sharing. And I hope your December is going really well, but I appreciate you being here and taking time out to keep on up with your CEUs. So that is a good thing. And if you could please in the chat box, go ahead and enter where you're joining from today, as well as where, if you have used AI yet, artificial intelligence, and a little bit about that. So we have folks from Monroe County, Seminole County, Pinellas County. Trudy is using AI. Palm Coast, St. Lucie County, Sarasota, Brevard, Collier County, not yet. Pinellas, yes, they have used AI. Miami-Dade County, Pasco County, Seminole County. Pauline says Merry Christmas, Pauline. St. Lucie County uses AI all the time. Nancy does. Terry says also from St. Lucie, Pinellas, Lake County, yes, using AI. Paula, let's see, Polk, and Palm Beach, Brevard, Escambia, he says yes. Hernando County, Brevard, Brooksville, yes. Volusia County, Pamela, in Miami-Dade, Duval, yes. Putnam, Leon, Patton, Tony, and Sumter County, yes to AI. Orange County. So we're from all over, from literally from Escambia all the way to the Keys today. So we have a good group joining us, and I'm excited that you're here. So thank you for that. Let me see. We have getting close to 300 people on the line today, which is a really great group for December. So I really appreciate taking your time out. So let's see. We have still some materials at the bookstore. These materials support the Master Gardener program at the state level. We have the ladies polo, the men's polo, the canvas tote, but I have to tell you that the best hat ever is sold out and we have to reorder because everyone loves that hat. And of course we have stickers and claims. I'm very excited to announce the Master Gardener webinars for 2026. And if you don't mind, I'll read through them because they are, I'm excited about these titles. January, we're going to have Reclaimed Water, Facts, Fiction, and the State Fate of Stormwater with Dr. Lusk. In February, Jim Davis is going to present on Florida ethnobotany. And in March, new and niche crops for Florida and you will be presented by Prissy Fletcher. Dr. Campbell will present in April on food security and edible gardening. And then in May, Mac Lessig and Amy Stipe and hopefully Amy Boo will present on the demonstration garden in Manatee County and their rare and native plant collection that they have there. Then in June, Jessica Sullivan will present on adaptive gardening strategies, especially for those that are having physical limitations. So that's going to be neat. Then in July, Lauren Goldsby from Bay County is going to present on gardening and artificial intelligence, how to spot a fake and catch a thief. So an expansion of what you're going to learn a bit about today. Then in August, Marco Schiavone is going to present on turf grass, an update about what we need to know. September will be composting for Master Gardeners with Dr. McMillan. And then in October, Aaron Harlow from Columbia County is going to present on cut flowers for the home landscape. November 19th will be stormwater ponds and plantings with Michelle Atkinson. And then in December, I'm going to present on secret gardens and hidden horticulture treasures. So that will be a good one to wrap the year up. So we have a really nice lineup. Becky is putting in the chat box right now the way to register to get signed up for the new webinar series. So if you're ready to go ahead and sign up, please do. We have you sign up for the full slate. And you can sign up for as many of those, make your choices from there. So if you know if you're going to be out or town or out of pocket from one, you don't have to sign up for it. But most people just sign up for them all and come when they can. So, and remember, these are for Master Gardeners only. The live webinars are, but we do always, you're able to share the recorded versions with your friends and clientele. Okay. So today we are talking about artificial intelligence for Master Gardener volunteers. Going forward, if you would please use the chat box or use the question answer box for your questions, and the chat box is now closed. And then if there's a point of clarity we need for Wayne, our presenter, I will stop him and ask the question. But otherwise, we'll answer the questions and field the questions at the end. I'm going to give you a little bit of my overview on AI now for MGVs. Or after I introduce our illustrious presenter, Dr. Wayne Hobbs. Wayne is the county extension agent in Clay County and Green Cove Springs. He's been there and leading the master gardeners there since 2016. He's originally from Delaware. His PhD is in ag education from the University of Florida. His other degrees are from Delaware. He's well known for his presentations on using edible plants for libations and refreshments, aka Horticulture Happy Hour. But more than that, Wayne is a educating educator. He wants to empower master gardeners in using all the tools and resources to be the best educators that they can be. And you'll get that from him because he's a great teacher and he wants you all to be great teachers too. Okay, and I'm going to say a little bit about AI. Gardening AI uses smart tools and chatbots, and automation for plant care, design, and management. AI offers features like disease diagnosis from photos, personalized care schedules, and design visualizations. You can even ask artificial intelligence to design a garden for you. But we have to be, though users have to be really cautious about potential misinformation out there when generative AI is, producing images or any kind of content. And Wayne is going to talk to you about that as well. But that's a pretty funky looking elephant ear right there. And AI helps with planning as far as plant selection and layout, maintenance, automated watering, automated weeding in the future, problem solving, and both beginners, intermediates, and professionals are going to be improving their efficiencies and strategies with artificial intelligence. So those are my slides, and I did want to let you know that all those slides were created with artificial intelligence, even the content. So I'm not saying that I would lean on that heavily all the time, but this is an example of what you can do with AI, just as a real simple application. So I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to encourage Wayne to go ahead and share his presentation at this time.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining me for this talk on AI. Overall, with this online workshop, we're going to be talking a little bit about the ethics of using artificial intelligence, as well as then getting into really the tools that we can use, some tips and tricks I've learned. The fun thing that I actually really love about this topic is I started teaching these classes to my new master gardeners about 2 to 3 years ago. But what I found is that every time I get to do one of these, I have to almost completely change it because everything keeps happening, everything keeps getting better, and then also I keep learning new tools. And there's one I just learned this week that really, honestly, opened my eyes to how I can really best apply this AI. And I've started putting it through to the different agents in my office, so hopefully they can start using it a little bit more to hopefully build up our productivity, fill in some gaps where we struggle with creating different things in time, and then we'll also talk a little bit about how to really know your audience and whether they're going to be accepting of AI too. So to start, I did want to share a little bit about ethics. Overall, just remember it is a tool. It's not a replacement for people. So my PhD is actually in educational technology with a focus on how extension agents are actually what stops them or helps them adopt new technologies. And what I find is really interesting is the same thing that I'm hearing now about people saying, well, AI can kind of do what extension does. Um, it's the same argument that's been around since even when extension started using radio back in the 1920s. The same thing was saying, well, why do we need extension agents if they can just talk over the radio? Or why do we need extension agents if TV can do it, if the internet can do it? It keeps coming up, but overall, it's never a replacement for people because while it can save us time, it can be really effective. We really need to know that people still want a person to talk to. They want someone who can relate to them. And the AI is only going to have what we give it. So it's never going to have your personal experience. It's not going to have those great knowledge that my Master Gardener volunteers have, where I know I can go to them and learn what's worked for them in their garden in Clay County, past what we have printed on fact sheets that the AI may be able to access in its language model. I also like to mention with this is that I actually with AI, I'm very applied with it. If you ask me how the programming works or every little intricacy about the technology, I'm not great at that. But what I like to know is how I can use it to help me as an educator, and then what I can do to then to share with other agents, Master Gardener volunteers, community to help them as well. The way I put it one time was that you don't need to know everything that happens within a transmission to get it to drive a car. So we can still use it. It's just knowing the proper ways to use things. And I'm even going to show some tips on some shortcuts that AI actually gives you to where you can actually ask AI what it needs, what you need to give it to get the correct answer. Also, with that, moving back into ethics a little bit, remember that there is plagiarism is an issue. So if you do present as your own work, I get to hear about this. I've actually asked my daughter's a sophomore in high school in some advanced classes. My son's in middle school. I've asked them how they use AI, and they're actually on a good place with it. At least they tell me they are, where they're able to use it kind of as sometimes help them develop their outlines of things. Um, the other week, I actually showed them how they could write a prompt to actually do their work for them, but said, if you ever do this, I'm going to turn you in completely. But I wanted to do it to see how close it would get. My daughter even read through it and said, she's like, I don't think I turned that in, so I don't think it's a good enough paper. I'm like, well, she's on the good side of things, ethics. But make sure that when you are using AI, never put in any personal information, especially things like evaluation data, identifying information. That's one of the big rules from UF is we never put things out there. Um, and the best thing to do about it is using some personal feeling about the ethics. For me, if I use AI and it creates something for me, I'm not going to go at the end of the year and claim that on my annual report in the university said I made 500 blogs this year. If I use AI and I copied and pasted it in, definitely not claiming those. If I take it as my guideline, I build it into my own, I change things, I check for those errors because we do have to make sure it is still extremely accurate. It follows research-based information. Um, and it is up to date. It's not saying things that it shouldn't. Even playing around with it. Last night, I was actually seeing where it was giving some false information about some of the services we offer. Let me fix that. My Outlook has an error that keeps popping up. But overall, we're going to get into some of these tools. So it really is important for you to check things, make sure they're still your own before you put them out there, make sure they're accurate. But some of the tools, what I usually like to start off with is what I think a lot of people are now using AI for. First of all, is for asking questions. And this is where, honestly, I really would love to see AI expand its use more into things like into areas of I'm going to move that over here, over into the extension as put it more at the forefront, which is where if you can ask it a question, it'll give you an answer. So usually what that does is it works differently than a search algorithm, but what it does, it compiles all the information. And this is where a lot of times you may be interacting with AI a lot more than you expect. If you ever go on like to a car dealership website and their little thing that pops up and says, hey, how can I help you? You're never actually talking to Lindsay or Steven. It's an AI model or a computer algorithm that's trying to get you there to give them your contact information so a real person can actually call you. And we'll be getting the questions as we go through. What I'm going to check here is I'm going to start going through some of these tools, kind of some of the basics that are out there, and then go into some things that are more advanced, talking about prompts, talking about image generation. I've just now started getting into some more of the video type generation, which is pretty fun, but there are some drawbacks to that too. So one I always like to mention, even though you may find that it's not your favorite, but it is out there, there actually is an extension AI chatbot. I think Wendy sent out documentation before. There is also a Master Gardener AI, but that is not related to us Master Gardeners at all. That is from a private company that calls itself a Master Gardener AI. It'll answer gardening questions, but it's pulling from all sorts of places. Extension AI was this extension bot was actually developed, I believe, at Oklahoma State University. Um, that's why when you actually look at it, I'll go to the main site here. When you actually get into the bot, here I just opened up as the full page version, so all I did was click here. They also have a widget version. This is basically going to be pulling from only extension resources. So that's really helpful because you're not going to get stuff from random websites. You're not going to get stuff pulled from Reddit. You're not getting someone's personal opinion. You're getting research-based information. And some of the questions it has would be really helpful to have on like a main extension site. For example, you can ask lawn and garden questions. How do I contact my local extension office? It gives a few little prompts here. You would click that on there and it would go ahead and give you an answer. This one I will say is usually works a little bit slower than some of the more common available ones. It says here if you want to enter your zip code, it'll give you there. If you're in Louisiana, you can go here. So it's going to give some topics. So if I said, yeah, I wanted to give it my zip code, it's kind of general public stuff. So if I wanted to put my home zip code, it's actually don't live in Clay County, live right over the line in Stark, but give it my zip code, it'll tell me where to contact my local extension office. So it's going to pull just from extension resources. If you have been using generative AI, it'll basically say, okay. So basically, I'm not getting the answer I really want here. It's telling you to basically go to the IFAS Extensions, find your local surface page, and not giving me the zip code. But some things you can do on here, we're going to go ahead and actually start a new chat, and you can directly ask it questions. So my go-to for any of this is, how do I kill dollarweed in my St. Augustine grass lawn? Because honestly, this question as an agent has been my most constant question I get. It's either dollarweed or torpedo grass. And so when we go in here, and this is something where anybody can go online and actually use this. It is open source. It's not hidden behind anything for only extension agents, but it's not really publicized. I haven't seen anywhere it's been publicized that much. So it is a tool as a master gardener, just knowing that if you wanted to go in and get quick answers to kind of help guide you as you find the answer for a client, you can ask it questions. It'll pop out answers, but as you can see, it's a little bit slower. And the big thing here is it tells you kind of a little bit of information about it. It's a perennial. If it's usually a combination of wet conditions and targeted spot treatments can control it, which usually that's the number one thing we usually tell people is if you have dollarweed, you either have really wet soil or you're watering too much. Mowing the grass at the right height. And as you start reading this, you notice, oh, it's giving me LSU guidance, which that mowing height's a little bit shorter than what our fact sheet says. And that's really where your expertise as a master gardener can be helpful, because you can kind of see that I know that this is a good idea, this is a bad idea. And those things that come into your mind as you read through, for example, as an agent, I'm going through and seeing herbicide options, metsulfuron, great product to control a lot of weeds, but also knowing that I'm like, well, if I'm going to tell someone to use metsulfuron, I'm going to also tell them, make sure not to apply it near your palms or your oak trees because it could cause some issues because it's a pretty tough chemical. But then atrazine's one we usually talk about. It says be cautious about 2,4-D. So there's good information here. And one thing I do like about this is it does tell you where it got it from. Each one of these little, I'm going to say footnotes, and that's probably not the right word. It's going to give you information on where it got the link. So if you actually click on these, it'll take you to the website where it's pulling from. So here it's pulling from a St. Augustine lawn maintenance calendar from North Carolina. The one issue you're having when you're just asked with the general public, ask these questions, or even you do, and you get it pulled up NC State, your scheduling is going to be quite a bit different. And then if you go into other states like Delaware, where I'm from, it's going to tell you that St. Augustine grass is a weed and you need to kill it all. But overall, it does say if you can also get to your IFAS Extension Office for questions. You can even tell it, can you tailor this to Florida? Okay, and I did get a quick question on here. I'm going to come back to some of the ones that are popping up, but one is how do you access the AI website is discussing. The way I usually get to it is I Google extension bot, BOT. So that's the name of the product, and it will get to you. It has gotten better for a while. It was definitely killing my yard. This was my Turing test for AI for the past couple years. Ask it about dollar weed, and if it said to use 2,4-D, I'd be like, well, I don't want it to do 2,4-D because it might actually kill my lawn. It never said anything about using a special formulator for St. Augustine. It's now telling it can be sensitive. I'm happy to see that there. And I said, can you tailor this to Florida? And then it's going to usually start limiting down its resources to UF resources. Or you can directly say, do this only with UF resources. So I'm actually going to move to another model to do that. So the one I'm actually going to open up, so this is going to look a little bit different. Probably the most common AI model that a lot of people are using is ChatGPT, or they're using things that are already embedded into their computer or into their Google. So you might be using Google Gemini, you might be using Copilot 365, which I'm definitely going to be going over because I'm having a lot of fun with what it can do all in one place right on my computer, and I can share it within our with other agents pretty easily. So this looks different than your ChatGPT. The difference is that when we're doing AI generation through UF, they want us to use this navigator, which is basically, it's an internal UF. You won't have access to it, but I'm able to show you how to use the model. The difference here is that there's additional safeguards about data and things like that, to where a lot of times it's actually blocking the data as agents and faculty UF. If we put information here, it's not going to directly share it and learn it and helping the model learn. It's basically going to be here for us to use. So ChatGPT, as I mentioned, you do have it as an option. Gemini, Perplexity, there's a lot of different AIs out there. They all kind of work the same way, but they all work on different prompts. So for example, with ChatGPT, this is just a version of that. It looks different, but it's just a variation. So with this, I can ask the same question. Kill dollarweed in my St. Augustine grass again. Now, since we already talked about it, I'm going to ask it to using only UF resources. And so the model's going to run, and basically what it's going to do is it's going to compile by telling it to using only UF resources. Basically what I'm doing is creating a version of a prompt. And the prompt is what you put into the software for it to give you an output. And we're going to talk more about how to build prompts and actually how to use AI to build the prompts for you so you are giving it the right information. So I'm letting this run. Hopefully my internet is holding out for it. Now, I do have a question I can cover. I think I mentioned a little bit, but what are the advantages and disadvantages of some artificial intelligence for master gardeners? So for using it, one of my favorite things is it does save me some time. So I'll show some different things I've created in Microsoft 365 later and types of prompts I've been using to help generate some content. But overall, I have found that it's easier if I have a new question that I want to get started on. I ask it a question, it'll come up with a response, and then it saves me some of that time of doing the same thing where I used to put this similar question into Google and start clicking on links and going through to find all those little things that I needed reading through. It does some of the reading for us, but then it's up to the user to then go back through. Some disadvantages, I will say overall that it can be a slippery slope if you start relying on it too much or give it too much credit without actually going through and vetting what it's giving out. The weirdest one I've had overall is that I have had a comment on an evaluation complaining about the use of AI art. So I did one once where I used a lot of AI images that I had created. I'm actually going to refresh this because I'm not sure why it is taking so long. But I use a lot of AI images, and a client said, why are you using AI images when you could be using actual artwork or using actual pictures? And my point overall was that you can use it for these things, but for them, they actually had an ethical issue with AI art, and that does go out there. If you ever see someone post AI artwork on social media, half the comments are saying, "Why are you doing this? This is unethical. We need to support artists." And I paint personally, but it does have its place. It is easy to use, but just know your audience is there, and you may also eventually you do use it a lot, and you state that you use it like you're supposed to. You might also run into people who may be asking about the environmental issues with it, about using energy, using water. From what I understand, the plants do recycle the water, so it's more of a power generation type thing where they're creating steam off these massive computers, but then it gets recirculated. It's not just being lost into the air, thankfully. But I will say overall, you just have to check it. So overall here, I just asked it a question. It tells me all about the St. Augustine grass, dollar weed, and then it says what to do and identify the weed, improve turf health, reduce excess nitrogen, gives me the references. This is a very nice output from here. And it says if you prefer a phone call, you can reach out to your local IFAS Extension Office for personalized assistance. That's my favorite thing it started doing, was telling people to actually reach out to the Extension Office. Fun thing you can do is like, wow, I don't know what nitrophilic means. Can I go ahead and can I change it for an audience? I'll say sixth grade reading level. Because that's one of my other things with teaching. I always tell people is to, if you're writing for another group, like an email or a blog or anything else, put it at sixth grade reading level. So then it starts putting it down into something that's more readable, less for the less for that professional audience. But it does do a good job of going through. Then you'd go through and refresh it. So that's kind of a basic of how we can use it to find answers, to save our time searching, to kind of get those outlines of what we want. Now for creation, you can have a lot of fun with this. So the one problem here is that if I said this, ask a question, and I keep having to ask a question. So I might say, can you make it for a sixth grade audience? Can you make this for Clay County? Can you make this for Miami-Dade County? You're asking different things, so it may take longer. What you can do here, and this works in this is a great way to start with almost every AI model that's generating answers, is actually ask it to create a prompt for you. Because every AI has a different format it likes things to go into. So let's say, can you create a prompt to write an email at a sixth grade reading level back to a client with a gardening question using only resources. So asking you to create a prompt, and this is one thing I just learned last week, and I'm super happy about learning it. I got to talk to some of the AI BI team from IFAS. And what it did is I told it, can you create a prompt for this? And what it came back with is write a polite, friendly email to a client who sent a gardening question. Use plain conversational language at a sixth grade reading level and rely only on University of Florida and IFAS resource for content, such as UF Extension, UF Plant Science Center, IFAS gardening guides. Name of the greeting, clearly answer their client's question, offer a brief session next step, and sign off warmly, keeping the email no longer than 3 short paragraphs. You can also, one common thing I usually like to add into this too, is I'll ask it to also include links to all the resources used. And the way you talk to it, you don't have to use questions. That's the way I do it. Okay, so that's not exactly what I wanted. But let's go ahead and play with this prompt to save some time. So I'm going to take this prompt. Usually what I do is I start a new chat. I copy and paste my prompt in. And then it's going to go ahead and it's going to say this. And then from here, usually it's going to kind of give you that prompt. And then you can say that, let's switch over to torpedo grass just for fun. I think I got swapped around here a little bit. Let me do a new chat. going to put my prompt in. Messed up. Okay. Put my prompt in. I'll put my question back in. Okay, so then here it is. It says, hi there. You may want to change that grading, of course. Thank you for reaching out about torpedo grass and Austin grass lawn. The best way to keep under control is give your lawn a healthy lawn look that weeds hate. Trim your grass 3 to 4 inches, water deeply but infrequently. Gives basic information that you do want to check. Does have some good guidelines. So this is just kind of one of those things you can build a skeleton and then work off of it from there. So you can actually create these so that it can do this portion of your work for you. Switching over models real quick, I'll showcase something that I created for fun yesterday. Is on Microsoft 365, you can actually take the prompts and turn them into agents. So it's not the same thing as an extension agent. That was the name they chose overall. So what I created for the office to do is kind of a fun thing to do is, hey, let's make one where if you just have to type a topic in and it'll create a blog. So I did give it prompts such as how long I wanted it, 300 to 500 words, 6th grade reading level, formatted for WordPress, which is the software where all the blogs go. And what it does is it basically, I said it was in Clay County, Florida. So with this, it basically writes a skeleton of a blog for us. It gives good ideas for varieties, tells you how to prepare the soil, mainly in bullet points. It does cut down the reading level. Then it starts giving tips for links, and then you could actually use this as your way to go through it. So this is one that I found that actually works pretty well as a starting point. One really fun thing I found out this can do too recently is that I created these prompts. You can also create prompts to write blogs. And then I was doing something fun where yesterday I created this. I was doing all of our monthly how-to series. And where's artist overview? Not sure where overview went on this. But overall, what I was able to do was to take the overview for our classes and pop them in there and create blogs that would promote them for us. Here it is. I don't know why the overview is missing. So I copied and pasted the overview of the program in, went into this prompt, was able to copy and paste the overview that I already wrote myself, and it writes the blog for us, kind of telling you more conversationally. Here's about the class, what you'll learn, some different topics, how master will help you, event details. So if we wanted to go ahead and put a blog out that highlighted something with the link to our class, more about Florida friendly certifications, our topics, these tools can do that for us. But it does come back to using the idea of creating prompts, because those prompts really do help you. Because if I were just to say, write a blog, then I'm saying, oh, can you change this? Can you change this? Can you change this? Now, even the ChatGPT, I have this for emails, and I can just go to a new chat. And question I got today, how do I control fusarium and queen palms? We had a positive ID on that today. Is as a master gardener, you could go ahead and have this as a good start for that response back. So those prompts are there. You definitely want to take out Warm Regards Navigator, the University of Florida. But with this is a nice way to kind of get started. If you don't know where to start those emails or what information to provide, this gives you that start. So that's kind of the basic of questions. We're going to get more into the creation side of things next, which is super fun. I'll get back to images in a second, but one that if you do have a Microsoft product, you likely do have access to this Microsoft 365 Copilot. This is one that I haven't actually been using for as long, but it's really taken over my use of ChatGPT because it is actually associated with our university account. So it does already know that I'm with the University of Florida. I'm an extension agent. So I'm able to do a lot of fun things with it. Like I said, the blogging thing. But I've been doing all sorts of things with different types of creation. So that's just a general chat where I was able to create the agents. It does have new things in here. So one of my favorite ones and this is something you can do in ChatGPT too, you just have to write the right prompt, is you can actually use it to help you with creating educational materials. I jokingly tell my wife that I'm going to go back and just become a curriculum designer now because this shocks me kind of how kind of quick this can work. Um, so let's say you want to create a lesson plan. You have a topic. You can create any subject. Let's say Florida friendly landscape certification. You can select a grade level. So let's say that you are dealing with a master gardener audience. You could choose grade 12 or higher education. You can knock it down to kids and it will do this. So let's say I'm dealing with a 6th grade class. I want to talk about Florida friendly landscaping. Lesson about how, I'm doing really quick here. Florida friendly landscaping is good for the environment and what kids can do at home. You can actually add state standards, so that's a great thing. So if you are going into schools and they ask you, hey, can you provide a lesson plan with standards? You can kind of add in the standards based upon these. So for example, I was in here last night playing with this with my kids with social studies, but you can say to put in here for science standards. You can look through and see which ones actually work for you. See if anything works. I'm actually not going to put any standards in. And so you need 45 minutes. Click generate. And this system, Microsoft Copilot 365 will actually build this for you. Objectives, materials, what you're going to need, any activities, and it'll actually start creating in your timeline, what activities you could do. You could supplement with things you already know, take things out, put things back in, but it is a good starting point to get your lesson plans together on a more advanced tool. Or if you're just using ChatGPT, one way I've done a lot with Master Gardeners is, can you create an outline for a Florida friendly landscaping workshop for adult audiences in Clay County, Florida for a 45-minute class. And I'll say, please provide slide notes. I'll say create a PowerPoint. So if you want to give it information like that, you can, or you can even ask it to create a prompt for you so that it'll actually keep doing it. So you can tell it, I need something to create a PowerPoint slide. I need something to create my PowerPoint slides for me. And then you can put in the information. So over here, it's kind of giving some different slide titles. So title, visual and graphic, speaker notes. So here's one option. Different models and different outputs will change this around. So it does not always look the same. And it does start having like what quick polls you might want to use, what type of hands-on activities, what type of handouts you might want. And you might be like, oh, I already have that handout. So right now it's just generating all of this kind of an overview. And then it starts asking you different questions too. The follow-up questions are great. Like, could you give me a detailed list of native plant species suitable for a kitchen garden? Can I adapt irrigation strategies? Can you suggest a short handout or workshop that I can distribute to participants during the workshop? And even things like, would you provide a brief demo script on how to set up drip irrigation system in 5 minutes? So it's going to give you more and more content here, things to use. It's going to suggest where you can go. And one of the things I've actually been liking about Microsoft Copilot 365 is, since it's here, it's in Microsoft, it's been very easy to create things like PowerPoints for it. So let me see, my screen share is kind of covering up the bottom. But I believe on Teach there also are options to creating the, but here's suggestions over here. It's saying add a virtual garden tour of interactive hotspots. Use peer review. You can save it to your OneDrive as a Word document. You can export it as a PDF. I'm going to go ahead and discard that lesson plan. But under Teach, you do also have options for like homework, study aids, lesson plans, and building new things. Now, from the more, I think we're about time to move. So it is a great option. Just remember to double check everything. Make sure it's accurate. Make sure it does fit your audience and what they like. Make sure it fits just like when you're always going out, make sure if it's telling you to use technology that you have the technology. Make sure if it's telling you to go outside and do an activity that there's places that go outside and do activity. So because it doesn't know all that information. Now, and you can also ask it to create a prompt to actually make the PowerPoints for you. And I can, like, for example, in here, I could go into this chat and can you create a prompt to create PowerPoint slides on a gardening topic of my choice using UF IFAS resources. I'm leaving a little bit out here too to show you that when you do ask these models what you need, it's going to basically create your prompt, like what you think it should do. You can modify this prompt, you can customize it for different topics. You can actually ask it to generate the PowerPoint file on your chosen topic. So by taking this prompt, putting it back into the chat, giving it a topic, it will pop out things that you can actually be turned into a PowerPoint. So could save you a lot of time, but then it is still your responsibility. On another side of things is if you do create PowerPoints, make sure they meet all the standards, especially for making sure they're accessible so people can see them from a distance. They're easily read. They're not too wordy. If it's AI generated, you actually have instant rights to all the images that it creates. You don't have to worry about that. But remember that some audiences may be against it. So for create, beyond lessons, beyond questions, beyond writing, probably the most fun part of this that people do like is the way that you can actually create. So I'm going to start off with one that everyone has access to, is Bing Image Creator. So this is always fun because you can actually create images. So if you ever see things online that are AI generated, they're using some sort of software. You have access to these for free. Usually it's the Microsoft product. I will say one really fun thing is I mentioned before about the idea about how everything all the old complaints about AI, how the new complaints about AI are very similar to the same complaints about things like radio, TV, the internet. I see the same thing when there's people like, oh, we're so worried about these fake pictures of plants getting out there. They're unrealistic and selling seeds. Well, I also remember, I remember getting my grandmother getting seed catalogs in the mail showing these pictures of these hand-drawn pictures of these beautiful large hedgerows of plants, and her ordering some, and they show up as little sticks and they die before they ever get a chance to get 3 feet. So we're still in the same boat. People are still going to utilize any tool they have to try to make money or things like that, but it's up to us to kind of learn how to look at that. And I'm definitely attending next year's webinar to learn more about that too, because it is getting harder to tell what's AI and what's not. But if you do want to create images, you can actually go in here and just say create an artificial intelligence using Master Gardener. I'll put volunteer to be correct. So I'm just telling you, I'm giving it a prompt. You can give it almost any prompt. Okay, it's asked me to sign in. I guess it logged me out since I've been here. No one steal my password. Okay, this actually is on my personal, but I apologize for this. I did not. That must be why it logged me out. Okay, let's get back to the pictures. I don't have time to scan QR codes and answer questions right now. So I said to no, now it's starting over. Create an let me just get back in Image Creator. Something's going weird with it. Okay. Now the one thing, and this is free, but you will run into the fact that it will ask you for, it will tell you how many you have available. There's ways to speed it up, things like that. But what it's going to do is it's going to use a model, and these models keep getting better. There's more advanced ones that are almost photorealistic. Some of the people you may see on social media aren't actually real at this point, but it is out there. So it's generating an image. These types of things do usually use up a little more energy and time and resources than just creating text. So here I said create an artificial intelligence master gardener, and it made you all into robots. And then it starts giving you other options about changing it. So here's just a robot gardening. Here's one where there's one teaching as an extension agent. Here's one in a meeting setting. Here's more of this is one where I asked before about Florida friendly landscaping and master gardeners. It gave me this. Some of these are older ones that I popped in before, people using AI. Master gardener volunteers. I think what's really fun is when you look at it is the way that things have gotten better. If anyone remembers, AI in the early stages was giving people extra fingers or removing them. I think she's still dealing with 4 here. And then all the text would be modified and changed. But here you go. Now you have it actually giving, this was actually generated like 6 months ago, but it's actually giving real text. I've asked it to create itself before. So these do have their uses. This was actually my favorite one. So last time I did it, I said, create a master gardener working with families. And I love the fact that it made dad and then made son with the same beard. So he definitely takes after his father, but AI is one of those fun tools that kind of, this can be really fun, but don't overuse it. I would say if you're dealing with putting these into PowerPoint, treat them the same way we used to tell people to worry about clip art. Don't use clip art on every slide. Use real pictures. Don't just put them there just so you have a visual. Make sure your visuals matter and actually help with teaching. But these are options. And honestly, you can do this in the Microsoft 365 too. There's a create option here. Getting there's a create option here. It's stuck on what I was doing last night. So create, and now there's new things here. So for some fun things you can try to do is, let's say you want to create an image. You can create a video now. To an infographic, you could say impacts of Florida Master Gardener program in 2024. Let's see what it does. Now, I would say definitely wait for the official UF ones to come out on this, but if you did have some data, if you had something you wanted to showcase, you can actually have it create things for you. This will come out as a PDF here. Even things like Canva are starting to outline. And I don't know if this is on purpose or not, but I kind of dig how when they do the image creation on Microsoft 365, how it keeps showing the shifting colors, like, oh, we're pulling this from everywhere and we're changing the tones, and it kind of makes it fun to watch and wait. So it's building an infographic. It would be then up to you to make sure all the data is correct, all the information's correct. But you can also even import, if you did a short fact sheet, pop it in there and tell make an infographic out of this, and it will do it. Then it's up to you to also make sure, like I said, it's readable, it's accurate, and also it's easily read by people. So super quick, it's starting to reveal itself, even though it looks kind of melty. I don't think I'll have time to do the video side of things, but last night I asked it to do a video on history of poinsettias, and in about 3 minutes it popped out a 5-minute video with actual AI generated people in it. And they were moving around poinsettias. They were picking up the plants and putting them towards the camera. They were talking about the history. So I'm guessing this is pulling off of what we've published in our fact sheets. It will give you you can ask it to give it resources. You can change the color palette. You can change the size. There's a lot of cool options to work off of when it comes to this creation side of things. Probably going to back out of this for time's sake in a minute, but is it still working? It starts giving you options to update. But yeah, so in a couple minutes, it created this for us. This is really great for you to be able to put things in perspective. You can always go back in these tools. You can find different ways to create. Different models have different abilities though. So that's one thing to always kind of work with. You can also make it so you can choose different types of infographics. You could say, I really want to show a roadmap on steps we're going to do to increase the amount of people we're teaching every year. Or we're going to make one about our goals for the Master Gardeners to put on slides. All these options are there. You can create stories, posters, images. Like I said, you can create an image. I don't know if it's going to show. Let's see if it saved my video from what I was doing last night. I might be confusing it with the fact that I was on. Oh, that's there. So all I did was give it a prompt. It said, make a video about poinsettias. My son asked me one about football too, because we were trying to see if it would actually copy my voice off of a YouTube video too, but it won't do that yet. Um, it will actually safeguard itself from some of the ethical issues, but I can talk about that in a minute. But in a couple minutes, I basically put a prompt in, make a video about poinsettias, and it was able to make one and save it. Those are ones where I would hesitate about publishing right on the social media side of things because they do definitely look AI generated. We have to make sure everything's completely accurate before it goes out, that it's following accessibility. So definitely that. And also, I forgot to mention this first, also talk to your extension agent and about what they want you to use this for and how they want you to use it, because that might vary depending on what they know about how the county commissioners feel about it, how county government feels about it, how the community feels about it. That might vary throughout the state. So talk to your agent too. Um, I've actually seen a shift in from being super excited about AI to actually being a little hesitant about AI at our county government level, which is interesting to follow in the past year. But I did create this video. It's taking a long time to load, but it does. It's basically kind of like an animated slideshow off of what I gave it. Um, Eventually, I know there are options with like things like Soar AI, where you could technically import videos and pictures of yourself and have them actually talk and read information. But at this point, those are still fairly easy to tell. But you can create these types of videos. And I believe we're at 150, so we're getting short on time. There's one final thing I really want to point out that really can, one of my favorite things to be able to do with AI, which is actually using the work you already have and using it as a tool to improve your personal work. So instead of using AI as your end goal, as you're creating your outline, what if you create something for yourself? So what I have here that I've been working off of, I'm going to pull it up over in this other side of things, is I hand wrote a fact sheet out, or not hand wrote, but computerized a fact sheet on AI use for master gardeners. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all that, and I'm actually going to put it back through a model to improve it. So it's called AI Tips for Master Gardener Volunteers. I'm going to share I have it printed out in a PDF so I can share it with everyone. Give me 1 second, it's giving me trouble. So I'm going to go into, I'm going to ask the AI to rewrite this at a 6th grade reading level. Not saying that you guys have a 6th grade reading level, it's just common. But also if you've written something or you already have a fact sheet and you want to go ahead and give it. So all I did was I asked it, can you write this at a 6th grade reading level? And it said, sure. Could you share the text with me? So I gave the text, and then it's going to go ahead and rewrite it, put it in some different wording, shorten it down. Oddly enough, one of the things I was doing with this was in college. I had this idea about a $1 billion idea. This is back in like 2004, 2005, where I kept asking people I knew who did computer programming if they could create a software for me. I had the idea, but I had no idea how to work with the computer side of things. And really what we needed was something like a supercomputer and AI to do it, which my idea was completely unethical, which was, can you give me something that when we put a text in, it's going to turn it into something that would basically get a C+ in high school or college, like something that would have grammatical errors, that would have spelling errors, that would be more in a conversational tone that you'd expect from like a student who's not an A student, who's not writing things out perfectly. And I went around, everyone who I talked to about it said, well, that's not possible. I was like, this could be a brilliant idea, but it would be the worst thing ever for education if it were to actually happen. And then in Copilot 365 on Monday, one of my newer volunteers was actually in here while I was doing it, and I actually was able to, in about 10 minutes, create a prompt that was able to do that, where I was able to copy and paste a research paper about Napoleon into it, and then it was creating things with movie references, it was making jokes, it was doing all sorts of things. One weird thing with AI that it usually won't do is if you do ask it to create something that's undetectable AI, it'll actually say, I can't do that. But eventually, after going through multiple stages with this and saying, can you make this into a 10th grader A level paper, B level paper, C level paper? Finally, at a certain point, it actually said, would you like me to structure this so it is harder for AI detection software to pick up that it's been generated? And I said yes, and it chopped the sentence up even more. So eventually it made something that was barely readable, but it's still kind of one of those things where ethically it's weird, but we can use it as a tool. One prompt I did this week off of this was we had to rewrite all of our website to make sure it's on a sixth grade reading level to meet ADA standards. I made a prompt that said rewrite website content for a sixth grade reading level from a text I give you. And then all I had to do was copy and paste in that text and it would pop it back out at a sixth grade reading level. So we were good to go for the audit. And actually the person who's doing the audit actually sent us instructions that said you can use Office 365 to do this. So it is a really powerful tool. A lot of fun things to do with. There's way more here. And like I said, I'm still kind of scratching the surface. The creating of the prompts is my new favorite thing because that was just taught to me last week by one of the, as actually an AI programmer who works the AI BI team. He said that was his number one tip. And after doing that, I'm starting to play a lot more with, can I create one that's going to, if I tell it that it's a queen palm with browning leaves, can it tell me what the possible things are so I can start narrowing it down as a diagnostic tool? So I'm not searching through 20 fact sheets. I'm searching through one thing and then double checking it against our fact sheets at the end. One final tip I will share too is whenever you do these, I always like to say to tell it to give you those links, give you those resources. Because if you can see where it's pulling the information, you can double check and say, hey, this did come from IFAS. I found it here. Or you might be like, wow, it came from IFAS, but it came from one of those PDFs that's still hidden on the horticulture website that hasn't been updated on EDIS since 1988. You might want to pull that information out. Or you might see that it might be pulling from a blog and that blog might be not completely accurate. So double check everything that goes into it and make sure it is out there. Because in the end, it's a new tool. It's something we can use, but we still have to make sure that we are above grade, that we are still being the most trusted source of horticulture information, and we don't want to fall into the trap of leaning on tools that are going to make us less trustworthy with the audience. Finally, I mentioned is if you are using AI to create things, make sure that you are going to actually put in that you used AI, a little denotation at the bottom that says generated using Microsoft Office Copilot 365 or created using ChatGPT and the model number if you are using it directly. But if you are using it as that framework and you're modifying, you're changing, you're turning it into your own thing in your own words, then you can usually not have to worry about that. If you do create pictures, I do always recommend putting created using Bing Image Creator or Microsoft 365 Image Creator there, just so people know that you're not trying to pass it off as your original work. But I said the good news is all those things you do create AI are yours to use. You have rights to use them. So I think that's right about on my time. Getting close.
Yeah, you have a lot of questions to work through, Wayne.
Okay, sorry.
Um,
Okay. Ooh,
you might have already been kind of answering them along the way, though, I think. So,
yes. Um, and I will say that I know some of them that were popping up is some things were ones with that I don't so like um with like data sets and generative outputs, some of the more technical side of things, I'm not that familiar with. I said I'm actually gonna stop screen sharing. Um, I'm
you're
more of a
you're
hands on the
driving the
ground.
car, not the mechanic, right?
Yeah, because if you put the numbers and coding in front of me, it just blurs. I can't figure it out. I'm too scattered for some reason. But I will say that overall, like the data sets you're using are usually the cool thing with AI is it's only going to use what's fed and it's only going to use what you tell it should use. So my favorite thing to do with that is to give it those limitations, create a prompt or just tell it use only UFIFAS resources. Or the prompt I did for the blogs, I actually put in there using UFIFAS resources, period. If none are available, utilize extension resources from other extension sources or state government websites in the similar region. And that way it can pull from those other places, but it's going to prioritize using UF-IFAS. So you can kind of generalize what it's actually able to work with. Um, I know I did cover the extension bot can be used by the public. There's some of these tools that are some of these tools are I haven't like for example Perplexity I haven't used. I did have a good question. What makes this AI not a glorified search engine? So on the user side, it does honestly seem very similar because we are asking it a question and it's giving us an answer. And actually Google now will give you that AI answer at the start. And it'll start asking you questions very similar to ChatGPT or the Microsoft 365 output, where it says, hey, where can you should try this, you should add this, you should modify, like it starts giving you those. The big difference here is the search engine uses a set algorithm to look for specific words throughout, where AI is actually going through and using all the information it has to actually generate something new that's its own work based upon what it's reading. And that's my general idea of how it works. There's a lot more that goes into it that's more of on a programmer level. Um,
Where do you grab the create a lesson plan? Or
so
you,
the Okay. Yeah, the
go ahead.
create lesson plan, the one I used is if you have a Microsoft product, there's a Microsoft 365 Copilot that was built in. Or I have asked like ChatGPT directly. So I was a little bit short on time, so I only showed like one model doing some things. But on ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, you can actually say create a lesson plan for a sixth grade audience about Florida friendly landscaping. Can you provide the slide notes for me? The
Slide
big,
notes.
yeah, the big different slide notes or lesson plan in whatever format you want it, fact sheet to go along with it. It can do all those. The reason I started using 365 more is because I know it can output it in the things I have. So it'll output things in Word, it'll output things in PDF, and it'll output things even in PowerPoint. Where sometimes GPT and other ones, the big models, they won't, or the online models, they won't have the ability to output into those software. So you're more copy and pasting. Um, but I will say overall, when it actually comes to generating PowerPoints, I haven't ever really liked the way they generate. So I like to use the UF templates and then put my information in there anyway. So those slide sets are helpful. But honestly, a lot of times if I'm going to go create something and it's something new, I might get a little bit of information off of to kind of get myself guided, but then I will actually want to write this stuff myself because honestly, I learn a lot while I'm writing. So I don't lean on this to create a lot of my stuff. My newspaper articles are still all my own because I want them to be mine. I want them to be written like me. My blogs a lot of times are still mine. Even though I can create one, I'd rather, if it's something new that I haven't done a million times, I want to write because I want to learn as I'm doing it.
What about Apple products, Wayne?
I have not used anything on Apple products with this yet because we're kind of stuck using Microsoft for work. I do know my phone has AI stuff on it, but honestly, I'm weird. I have it turned off on my own personal phone. I only ever use it for work. In my personal life, I don't use this
Okay.
stuff that much yet.
All right.
So I don't,
So, and what's the best way to give AI the proper reference?
so the way it was explained to me was to giving like the proper reference, like the proper information to get your answer you want, or
No, you've used AI for a blog or you've used it
okay.
for an answer or something like that, and you want to, let people know that you did that just to be fully transparent.
Okay, so I've actually pulled that. I have a fact sheet that I can share with everyone. It's a PDF. I don't know how the best way to get it out to everyone would be who attended or registered. Um, but overall, what I've done before is so basically, if you're there's a couple different ways to do it. You could say during the preparation of the work, the author used um, this tool for this purpose. After using the tool or service, the author reviewed and edited content as needed and takes full responsibility for the content of the publication. That's something that I actually pulled off of a UF document at one point. I don't know if it's still out there because the UF AI guidance is constantly changing too. The other one I've used before is like basically um, the following blog was created by Microsoft Office 365 using the following prompt and just said like, what is this? And then and then name the tool. So that way you're kind of being aware of like what's actually being used. Or for pictures, you can just put generated using Bing Image Create or generated using Microsoft Office 365.
Okay.
Those shortened ones are, I'm pretty sure those shortened ones are fine, but I'll have to double check on what the current UF guidance is.
So there's a question here. How do you correct spelling errors in AI generated content? You go ahead and edit the document and you fix the spelling errors. I mean, it's not like you can't get back into it, right?
Yeah, yeah. So you can, so like you would copy and paste it over to a Word document or a word processor anyway, or into your site, then you could change it. Um, you can also sometimes ask it, can you improve, can you check this for spelling? And sometimes it will go back through and fix those things. Um, you can also ask it to put those errors in, which is the complete opposite and kind of fun, but it will purposely misspell things if you want it to. But it'll kind of do
Yeah.
whatever you tell it to do. But overall, usually for me, if I see an error, it's quicker for me to put it into a word processor, change it myself, than to have the system go through and change things. But you can also you can have it scan papers for errors. Um, I think my daughter said she used it once. She copied and pasted something in and said, check this for plagiarism. And it kind of gave her an output of what things could be seen as plagiarism, which was fun. Um, she also said one time, I was like, this is ingenious, but she actually put her paper in and said, can you find me the sources for my arguments? And she used that as her baseline of where she was going to start her reading because she read her opinion and then said, where can I support my opinion? And it went off of there.
Oh,
Um,
that's really clever.
I use it this year,
Really
even on
clever.
my our annual reporting. I put in and said, can you improve my can you use county statistics? Can you find county statistics that help support why extension should be in Clay County, Florida? And it started pulling in more data sources that I didn't know about. Like we usually just use census data. It pulled in like three or four other things I hadn't seen before. I was like, well, okay, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
The
So I
rabbit
think
holes to
that
go
fact
down.
sheet would be very helpful, Wayne.
Yes. Okay.
Um,
I'll
we
take.
do have the list of everyone who registered, so we could go ahead and send that out. And then people are asking for kind of a hands-on at a conference where they would have their laptop or their tablet, and you would kind of look over their shoulder as they're creating their prompts and getting their answers. That
Yeah,
sounds neat, doesn't it?
that'd be really good. Yeah, and I know there's some questions about like access to things. So that's one that because I with the with like so if you're trying to get into chat gpt, the version you have is different than what I'm using because UF has those additional safeguards they want us to use, like different guardrails to basically to stop it from sharing the information back with the model, because every time you're using something like chat gpt or Claude, you're helping to train the model. It's taking the information that you put in and it's using it to make it better over time.
Mhm.
um, and then things like 365, if you have a Microsoft license, you likely have access to that to work with, but I'm just using the UF version because I'm logged into my UF computer on my UF account. So it's locked into that. So you can have your own attached to your own personal information too. Um,
Okay. Any other questions you want to answer there, Wayne, that you're looking through?
there's a lot.
There is a lot.
Someone said, can I come back? That's fine. Fastest hour I spent in a long time. I don't know if, hopefully, that wasn't about my speaking voice because I do know.
No, that wasn't. They were captivated, I think. And this is really fresh new information for so many people. Um, a whole new way of thinking about things. But what I like about it is that as master gardeners, we're not going to be replaced by these bots. It's only going to enhance the information and the recommendations that we give. And because people really want to hear it from an experienced peer, a gardener, they can find out how to, the small facts, but to get the full picture, it's good to talk with a master gardener.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it even comes back to like spheres of influence and what people actually listen to. I've always shared with my volunteers in Clay County that people will trust and adopt information so much faster from their friends, neighbors, and family members than they will the person sitting somewhere else on the phone. So if you like they look to master gardeners as that expert resource out in the community. I even said when I started here, I was like, if I'm standing in a line with my master gardeners at a plant clinic, they're going to go to the master gardeners first versus me because they're the people they expect to know more about gardening than me. Kind of they listen you that side of extension where we really need to kind of, I think extension overall needs at a certain point some way, whether it's through social media, whether it's through getting out in the community more, needs to go back to more of that, your county agent, they're really involved versus sometimes we're more detached and we're so locked into writing and creating things where hopefully things like AI, if it can create a blog for me and take an hour out of my day, there's an hour I can go and do a site visit. There's an hour that I can work to create a lesson plan that I'm actually really excited about versus having to labor over an email about dollar weed.
Right, right, right. Okay, well, more to come. We're going to have a lot more coming on, and look for that fact sheet. We'll include a link to the fact sheet along with the recording as well from the talk today. And so, Wayne, thank you so much. And I want to wish all of you happy holidays and a happy new year. And you should have gotten an email from me already about the 26 what lineup for webinars. So we look forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you, Wayne. I hope you have a great holiday vacation. Take some time off, okay?
Yeah, well.
All right. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.